Hi there, I'm Katie Wagner. Welcome to Social Media Help Desk. This is the time every week when we get together to talk a little bit about social media and some of the things that we see changing and the tools and tricks we use to stay ahead of things here at the agency. I'm here with two of our content editors, Isaac.
Hello.
And Layla. And today we have a lot of things to talk about, including how to run your social media during the month of December. December's just started, but it's kind of a... Isaac, have you got the new profile yet?
Yeah, not yet, but I've seen other people's that have it. It's actually not going to be the same for each user.
That's right.
Instagram's testing different variations, and when they find the right one, we'll all find out, I guess.
Yeah, do you have different ones? I have the same old one so far, so mine hasn't changed yet.
The only thing I've seen different in mine is when I tried to post a story over the weekend, it gave me the option to choose my close friends. So I guess you can build out a list of people that you would want to have see your story. That's a slightly smaller group than all of your followers.
That's a good thing, you know. All right, so they say they're changing the way the buttons look and all of that, but they're not going to change the way the photos go up or the way the feed looks. So that should stay the same, but Isaac's right. They're testing lots of different types of profiles, and they'll determine, I guess, which one we like the best and then roll that out. So more on that in the weeks to come. The next thing that's happening is that LinkedIn is actually making some changes, and LinkedIn has rolled out a feature that's kind of like Instagram stories, but on LinkedIn, which is Snapchat stories. Sorry, I get them confused. Snapchat stories, which I guess is also like Instagram stories, but on LinkedIn, which is kind of a weird thing. I like LinkedIn the best. I'm always open about that. That's my favorite social media channel, but it's because it's more professional and not as social. And now it seems like they're trying to get on board and like make it more social and more like the other channels. And I actually hope that it doesn't go that way, because that I think would be detrimental to its real value, in my opinion.
I do know that LinkedIn has been trying to come up with a way to get people to adopt the platform younger. And so I do think it makes sense that they're rolling out this platform specifically for students, so that they can showcase themselves to employers, potentially share who they are as a person so that they look as a more attractive candidate. And I think that there is some angle to LinkedIn that is about that job search.
Sure.
I think that personal brand and that whole journey that people are switching away from traditional resumes and submitting video resumes, I think LinkedIn is on top of a trend that we should watch out for.
Okay, all right, so I can see that. LinkedIn is about job searching, right? It's a big part of that. And Layla's right, LinkedIn's rolling out this feature to students. It's an app for students. They're rolling it out to a small group of students, letting them use it, and then they'll decide if the rest of us get it. And I have a quote from LinkedIn's product manager, Isha Patel, and it says, "We want to help students grow their network, prepare for life after graduation, and help potential employers learn more about them." So that's exactly how they intend it to be used, to sort of enhance your resume a little bit, add a little more personality. So we'll see. These stories, as it go up for 7 days and then they disappear, sort of like Snapchat has disappearing stories. I don't know, when you were looking for a job, think back, would you have used that?
It certainly wouldn't have hurt. Of course, I'm not a student. As a student, I'm sure I would jump at the chance to, use an app that's able to allow me to broadcast a story, record a story. As a professional, though, I think we might see. Well, it'd be interesting to see what types of professionals end up using the stories if it does get rolled out for wide use across the platform.
Yeah,
So,
I immediately think of like multi-level marketing, like network marketing companies, and how those people are always trying to use Facebook Live now and do a lot of live videos, and they're uber consistent, let's call it, on social media. And so I think of those type of people trying to infiltrate LinkedIn, and I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to that, right?
Definitely. We'll see how it works out, but I think that this is maybe in some ways LinkedIn sort of just going with the trend of everybody creating a story feature. Everybody trying to emulate Snapchat. We have Instagram stories now. Facebook has their own stories, and now it's come to LinkedIn.
Coming to a platform near you. Stories are everywhere. And then the last thing is also a little bit outside the box. Google has decided they're going to help you create content for your social media. So they've unveiled this thing they call Small Thinks, which is kind of a weird name. Small Thinks is an image creation platform app that lets you create images, graphics that you're going to use then on other social media channels. So like for instance, for Christmas, they've unveiled some holiday themed images with like gingerbread houses and Christmas trees, and you're supposed to create these graphics for your business and then share them on your Google profiles or on your Facebook page or your other social media. So just making it easier for small business owners, I guess, to create their own branded graphics and content and not have to pay an agency to do that or have some other Photoshop experience, something like that. What do we think of that?
I think it's very kind of Google. It's free, so I think most
It is free.
businesses should jump at it. And not every business has a graphic designer or is willing to maybe, put out the money they need to subcontract and get some quality graphic design. So this is a good way for them to spread maybe reviews about their own business or features that they'll be having during the holidays.
Yeah. What do you think? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I would also say that it really goes to show that Google is also behind that whole movement, that the third-party reviews and having that live review is really a great piece of content. I mean, in this agency, we do it for our clients all the time, that it's part of the content calendar that you not only show what you're doing, but you also show what the results were and what people have to say about you. So I think for Google to release this, it may be a little bit redundant in the terms of like the resources online, since there are already a lot of free tools. But I do wonder them going after the fact that these businesses may not know about those templates is actually going to help Google as a platform where you do want to leave more reviews, and that's probably what their message is behind it.
So this particular tool doesn't have anything to do with reviews, but you're saying it might make people more comfortable with Google as a platform?
Yeah, and the reason that I bring it up is because a lot of the examples for Christmas was Google showing off their different
So I would
reviews.
take my Google review and put it in a gingerbread theme picture and post it?
Exactly.
All right. I mean, that's good content. That's good content. You can't blame them for that. But you could also do anything else in that, right? You don't have to use a review for that piece of content to work. Okay, so if anyone out there has used this Google Small Thanks, I still think it's a weird name. Small Thanks is what they're calling it. Write in the comments and let us know. Have you used it? What have you used it for? Because we're just starting to experiment with it here, so it'll be fun to see if that catches on. Sometimes Google rolls out things that don't necessarily go the way they were thinking it was going to. Like Google Plus, for instance, right? They thought maybe this was going to be the next big social networking tool. It didn't turn out that way. But this is another idea of them. It feels like they're trying to play catch up sometimes. Like it feels like you're saying the forefront, I'm saying there's lots of other tools out there. Maybe they're just trying to capitalize on stuff that's already happening, that's popular. But either way, Google's an accessible platform, so let us know if you play with it, use it, and how that works for your business. So photos, graphics, is a big piece of content that you can use on social media, but one of the other pieces of content that's kind of the best in a lot of ways is video these days. So 2018 was like the year of video, right? Every social media channel emphasized video. The algorithms really favored it, and people tend to respond to it. We have short attention spans. We like to watch video rather than having to read and that sort of thing. And so a lot of people have it on their resolution list that starting in 2019, they're going to try to add video to their marketing strategy. Layla, let's talk about some ways that you want to make sure that that's going to go the right way. What should business owners be thinking about as they're trying to add video?
Yeah, so video on social media is a lot different than the video you would have on your website's homepage, for example.
True.
I think there are key differences that make a video successful on social media, especially because you are dealing with a person who is just scrolling through their newsfeed, and you have to take into consideration that these people are on their phones, these people aren't interested in being marketed to. So the video that you create has to be very unique and specific to the channel. So there are 5 key things, and we'll just go through them one by one.
Okay.
The first one is to keep it very short and very simple. So try not to overwhelm people. Instagram actually has put a hard cap on not being able to upload more than 15-second videos. Okay. We recommend going somewhere between 15 seconds and 2 minutes. And after that, you will lose people, and you either need to get them to do something or they will continue on to the next thing.
I would say even 2 minutes is a little on the longer side. Like shorter is better, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're thinking about Facebook where you're scrolling through and it's playing in the feed. I don't linger there very long to have it catch my attention. You gotta get to the point really fast if you want me to watch that video.
Yes, which that actually brings it into the second piece.
Look at that.
You have to start quickly.
Yes.
Because there is that thing of the instant play. And so if people are scrolling, it is said online, there's multiple sources, but most commonly it's really the first 3 seconds.
Sure.
So can you believe it? You have basically 3 seconds to catch someone's attention.
Hook them, yeah.
To really bring them into that. So we recommend doing very captivating elements, things that catch their eye, like big popping bright colors are also really helpful. Using people's faces. Sometimes people tend to be drawn in if you have a close-up of a person's face. And then another thing is to include recognizable brands.
Let me stop you for a second, because you said social media video is really different than website video. And I think this is an important point, because sometimes if you're making a homepage video for your website, you want some big like animated open and it, you know, has some flash to it. But if I only have 3 seconds on social media to catch someone's attention, this may not be the place for the open. You may need to just get right to it, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is a difference between this type of video versus something you would create that lives on the homepage of your website.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one, number 3, is to show and not tell. So this is a big...
That's a good rule of video in general, right?
Yeah, definitely in general. I mean, it's our whole tagline here is tell, tell your story and really try to be visual. But in this particular case, it's because most platforms by default, people have their sound turned off. So if you catch a person who is, between tasks and they're scrolling on Facebook, you really have to hook them with the visuals and not necessarily the words that are being said or the music that's being played. So we recommend, really trying to work with captivating visuals. If you are going to have someone speaking, make sure you're uploading captions.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that, the closed captioning at the bottom. That's really important.
So there is a way to do that after the fact. If you've already created a video, you can add captions straight onto most of the social media platforms. But I have seen it also be very successful if you write it straight onto the video file. So you don't, you have a little bit more control over where you put things and what colors you want to use to accent it in your way.
I like the way you said you're catching people between tasks when they're looking at the feed instead of like avoiding their tasks, looking at Facebook.
Of course.
Which might be the case more often.
And then the 4th thing is the shape of the video. So this, if you do spend some time on social media, you'll recognize this, but then when you actually get down to it and you're making your video, you forget about it. So most people, when they say, oh, we're making content for social media or making videos, they turn their iPhone sideways and they start filming.
Yes.
And even though that gets you a lot of a high resolution screen to work with, it's actually better to remain vertical.
Really?
If you're going for live posts, or if you do choose to post later and you want to upload it to Facebook or Instagram, to actually turn it into a square video, simply because that way you have the most real estate on a phone.
Okay, so talk to me about vertical. Why would I keep vertical? Because one of the things that I see that I don't like is that, your video is here and then there's like grayed out parts on the side. Like sometimes when you go live on a video this way, it doesn't look so nice. I prefer it this way. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so maybe that's really where it comes in, is like, what are you making your video for?
Okay.
Are you looking to put it inside of stories? Then go vertical.
Then it's vertical for sure. Yes. But on the feed, horizontal might work?
Yeah, horizontal definitely will always be okay. But square in that scenario is better, because if you look at it, they don't necessarily provide you a wider screen. If anything, they shrink it down. So you lose a third of that person's attention with their visuals.
Well, and certainly on Instagram, square videos, right? Because everything's square there, fits in the flow there nicely. So, okay, and how do I make square videos? What if I don't know how to do that on my phone?
So there's a couple of tools and apps that you can download that you can turn your videos into square files. There are a lot of free options too, but the thing is you have to really consider it beforehand, because you need to make sure if you're framing two people having a conversation, they need to be close enough so that you can do that crop.
Don't I use one of those apps and then push the button and it's going to shoot in square so I can see what's in there?
Yes,
Yeah.
that works too.
Yeah, do you have one that's your favorite?
No, not necessarily. I think the only really the one I use is Instagram, which then ends up being, it crops it mostly for me. Do you have any, Isaac?
I kind of go back and forth, I suppose, but for the most part, I'd agree that as a user, if I'm scrolling, I'd want it to be vertical. But if I take the time to rotate, say maybe, you know, like we all do for YouTube,
Yeah.
it has to be horizontal.
I know.
So it really depends on context, I think, but yeah, for scrolling, definitely.
But why do you like it horizontal or vertical in a newsfeed?
Just because I'm scrolling, so it just seems
you're
like
just trying to
that's
get
going to
through
be the native flow of it, as opposed to if it was like my phone was on its side. So always keep the user in mind, I think, for the context of when you're going to be marketing to them.
Okay. All right. What's your fifth tip? Are we at 5? I was counting.
This is
Yes,
number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
So number 5, which I think we all hold very true here, is when you're going to be making a video, have something to sell. Whether that is an action and you want them to go buy something, that is true selling, or sell your brand, sell your culture, have a reason why you are publishing this, and have a key takeaway and something for them to do afterwards.
Okay. So make video with a purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, and give me an example of something they would do afterwards. If it's a product, I would watch the video and click through to where I buy it, right? What if it's a culture video?
If it's a culture video, you could always ask them to check out the team. Or if something gets mentioned, to throw that in there. Like if you're interested at the end of this video, to go and explore more on our website.
Okay, so link to different pages on your website or
Or follow you.
other social media
one.
channels, yeah, where they could learn more. All right, cool. Good. Any other video things we should keep in mind?
The only other thing was just a big statistic that really stood out to me. You had mentioned that 2018 was the big year for video.
It really was. Yeah.
But now, as we're heading into 2019, there's actually a statistic that just got released that says that in 2019, 80% of the internet traffic is going to be video focused.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I believe that because all the channels are prioritizing it. And actually, there was something I read probably a year ago that Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, said that in 5 years, Facebook would be entirely video content. And people kind of poo-pooed that. But you can already see just in the year since I read that interview with him that a lot more of your feed is video. And I think you don't notice it until like go home today and when you're looking at Facebook, like note how many things are actually videos you scroll past. Because I think it is headed that way. And I don't know. Tell us how you feel about that. I like it, but I don't have time to watch a lot of video. So it has to be really good for me to pause.
Definitely. No one's ever skimmed a video and understood the video. You
Right.
can do that to, a few paragraphs, but for video it's going to be much more difficult. Maybe we'll end up seeing shorter videos as being the standard just so people can absorb it quickly.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think there's obviously going to be a lot less work getting done, right? Because people are sucked into the video on Facebook now.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, Layla, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, Isaac. So I told them we would talk to them about social media during December because this is sometimes a tricky time of year to be marketing your business.
Definitely.
All of our e-commerce or retail clients are rushing to try to take advantage of holiday sales, but some of our service-oriented clients, wonder how to capitalize on this side of this time of year as well. And so, talk to me about what we should remember, no matter what kind of business we're in, for social media this time of year.
Always remember your customers, and by that I mean the communication during the holidays that you're sending to your customers. If, say, for example, you're a jewelry company that specializes in Christian-themed jewelry,
Okay.
say Merry Christmas. Use the nativity scene. You're connecting with your customers who already know you sell those types of products.
Because that's part of your brand, that you're a
Exactly.
Christian company.
Exactly.
Okay.
So don't really shy away from that. But say perhaps you're an accounting firm that works with a diverse array of clients. It's probably better to stay on the safer side and say, happy holidays
Happy
when
holidays.
communicating with them. You know, it's very respectful to them, and they know that you as a professional are respecting all their own diverse beliefs.
Well, I also think, so I'm thinking of a client that's a law firm, and they all have the same belief system, but it's not necessarily part of how they represent their clients. That's not part of their brand. And so we say happy holidays there because it doesn't factor into their brand story, right? It's not important what they believe.
Exactly, yeah. What you believe, say for example, if you're one of our clients is a Jewish deli, and their communication was a happy Hanukkah.
Makes sense.
It speaks to their products, it speaks to who they are, and also their clientele. So definitely maintain your communication to match your brand during the holidays in December.
I'm actually getting to have breakfast there tomorrow morning, so I'm really excited.
Lucky.
Nice.
Okay, all right, so stay true to yourself, celebrate in your own way. What else should we keep in mind?
We should also keep in mind advertising. December is the month of advertising. If you're a business, everyone's going to be buying gifts. With that in mind, though, you don't necessarily have to break the bank when you're running ads on Facebook or even Google, especially since you'll be competing with a lot of other businesses that have very deep pockets.
I think that's really important because this is actually a time of year when sometimes if our clients aren't e-commerce or retail, we'll pull back on ad spend because there's so much competition happening. Everybody's trying to reach those holiday shoppers. So if that's not really your audience, don't spend as much this month. Maybe market in other ways, pull back on your ad spend so that you're not just butting heads up against those people who are spending a ton of money on holiday ads.
Exactly, and we're not saying don't run some type of holiday promotion or anything like that.
Sure.
But your holiday promotion can be sent to your existing email list.
Sure.
Why not double down on the people you know already purchased your product, already interested in your business, but just start marketing to them exclusively and let everybody else sort of fight it out on the advertising auction.
Well, you can also post on your social media organically, right, and reach your fans there. It
Definitely.
just if you are going to run ads during this time of year, and many businesses, e-commerce businesses or retail, do need to do that, just know that you're going to spend a little bit more during December because there's a lot of competition out there. And as you know, Facebook, Instagram ads run on a bidding process. And so you're bidding against the other people that are trying to advertise to the same audience you are. And so when there's more people bidding, the bids get driven up a little bit. So it is going to be a little bit more or less cost effective, let's call it.
Yeah, definitely. But as always, it's December, so you should be promoting yourself. Have some type of promotion running because everybody else will. And
They will.
you want to attract people, and it's the best way to do it, really.
Yeah, yeah. What about creating content? Because, I see a lot of times that people just, if they're not in a shopping business, they just continue to post content like normal. December's like any other time of year, we just put out the regular content. And I think that's a missed opportunity because one of the things that makes great content is that it ties in to things people are talking about anyway. And during the holiday rush, no matter what you're celebrating or what you believe, it's crazy, right? Even for business, right? It's the end of fourth quarter. We're finishing up the year. The holidays are coming, a lot of family stuff going on. So it's kind of a crazy time. And if you can create content about your business that ties into any of those emotions people are feeling this time of year, I think you have a better chance of making an emotional connection. I think you really get people to absorb that content and feel something for your business, feel more connected, rather than just trying to do business as usual during a time when everyone's experiencing kind of the same thing.
Absolutely. This is a chance to be creative, I think, too. It's the holidays, so why not have more than just regular type images on your marketing material? Embrace the holidays and really show that your business is up to date and keeping up with trends.
Well, and tie into the things people are talking about. Like, for instance, let's say you're a CPA firm and on Christmas Day you post about tax planning. No one cares because it's Christmas Day and everyone's posting about Christmas, right? So maybe you could take that day off and either post happy holidays or just take a break that day, enjoy your family, and post the next day, because your content will look out of place if everyone else is talking about other things, and it won't be super effective for you if you sort of aren't ringing true to what's on everybody else's mind. Any thoughts on that, Layla? Content creation tips?
Yeah, I mean, you got my mind kind of going about the whole aspect, like products, they know what they're doing, they're putting their product out there, you're making it look very winter-esque. But with service companies, what do you do at this time of the year other than on Christmas Day say, Merry Christmas to everybody. So I was thinking maybe because it is the end of the year and everyone is feeling this sense of nostalgia and family and togetherness, that maybe you take your content with a different approach and you try to showcase, if you have great culture, how your team is bonding together and doing nice things for the holidays. Or if you had a really fun year and you have all these highlights that really stood out to you, why not share them again on social media?
Oh, I love year in review. If you can
Yes.
create content that's year in review, that would be amazing. But even like, we have a lot of clients that are business services or business type consulting firms. Why can't you talk about year-end stuff? What are you trying to do before the new year strikes? That's still December content, just not related to Christmas or Hanukkah. Fine, right?
Yeah.
Still what's on people's minds this time of year. And I think, staying consistent is important too, because sometimes we all go on vacation this time of year, and it's easy to say, well, I'll just not post for the 2 weeks I'm on vacation. That's a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
Because the algorithm isn't on vacation, and the algorithm is going to realize that you've dropped off, and they'll penalize you for that. You'll lose kind of your rhythm and your standing there. So think about what kind of content makes sense this time of year, because you don't want to take huge gaps. You don't want to get too busy and post twice a week rather than every day because you just were running around. You really want to come up with a plan to stay consistent and keep the flow going right to the end of the year and into 2019.
Yeah, and I think a handy little tip and maybe even also a takeaway from this is you have so much inspiration of all these types of content that you should be doing. Take a day, and it really doesn't take more than a couple of hours. Figure out what you're going to post and then use schedulers. If you are going to be away, you're not going to be around your computer, it's definitely not encouraged to use the scheduler, but if you are going to be away, make your posts and plan them to go live at certain times so that you never miss a beat.
Okay, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I think schedulers are a horrible idea because it's not authentic and because the algorithm knows and will penalize you for it. So I think if you have to schedule during the Facebook app, using the Facebook app, that's fine. They have their own scheduler. You can schedule content there, but I would try to avoid it other places if possible, because it's always best to post live if you can make that happen. Or task someone in your office with doing it. Maybe everybody posts on Instagram one day, right? And then we all just have to do it once. But try to avoid that if you can. Leila's right. If you really, let's say you're going overseas and there's no one else to do it, yes, you may have to do that. So the technology exists, the apps exist, but if there's a way to avoid it, it'll be better for your algorithm and your reach and engagement if you can. If you can avoid it. All right. Well, good. Lots of tips and things to think about as December gets in full swing here. Listen, if you have questions for us, you can email us anytime at tips@kwsmdigital.com. You can also go on our blog on our website, which is also kwsmdigital.com. Our website, we write every day on our blog, 8 times a week, actually. So one day gets 2 posts. You'll have to figure out which day it is and write to us. And then also we have videos go up on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is KWSM Team. And if you look there, you'll see past episodes of this show and then also our tip of the day videos. So send us some comments, write us some emails, and in any case, we'll see you next week at the same time, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.